It's the middle of May, Zone 7, and I'm summer pruning this Liberty apple tree. There's no suckers on the tree down there at the rootstock, so let's start at the trunk here. I've already established my scaffolds, so we're going to remove anything below the main scaffolds here. Right at the collar. All this upright branch growth needs to go all the way around on every scaffold. There are 5 scaffolds here. Pruning these that are going straight up will allow for more growth where you want it. Remove anything growing towards the inside of the tree. There's the main scaffold. Prune all the limbs going straight up of the main scaffold. You don't want those. There are 5 limbs that came off this scaffold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to remove this right here, and I'm going to tie down these 2 branches on either side of that scaffold. These 2 right here. I'm going to tie those down, and that's where the tree will continue its growth. I'm going to remove this new growth. Never keep 3 at the end of the tip of your scaffolds. Don't keep 3. Prune out this middle one. If you only get 2, well, then you have to make another decision. These other 2 branches here below, these now will be my main branches coming off the scaffold. These other 2, you can either head those back or remove them entirely. I'm going to head them back for now. New branches like this coming off the scaffold that are near the trunk, remove them. Also scaffolds near the trunk that are going into the tree, remove them. This branch off this scaffold needs to go. This branch is too close to the trunk. It's about 5 inches, and it's growing right in to this scaffold here. So I'm going to remove it entirely, or you can take off 50% of it. I'm going to take all of it off. If you take off part of the growth, you'll remove the rest the next year, or try to get some apple spurs off of it. Some apples. You could head this back, so you'll get apples off this at a later date, or you can just remove it. I'm going to remove it because it's so close to the trunk and it's going into the tree. This is a 20-inch scaffold coming from the trunk. We're keeping branches here at the tip. We're not keeping these branches here. They're growing into the other scaffold, so when they get larger, that's going to be a problem. But because you might want apples on them later, you could get apples off them. If you want, you can remove just part of these. So you'd head back halfway, 2/3, whatever you want. Or you can remove it entirely. This is another scaffold branch. Got 3 branches growing out of here. You could remove this upper branch and tie down this and this, these two. Or you could remove this small one, because this one's doing so well, and you can tie it down this way. You want your branching to be horizontal, not vertical, especially on apple and pear. You want them almost parallel with the ground. Leave all of these leaves on your scaffold. You'll get fruit here next year. And also remember, leaves feed the roots. So you leave all this. You do not remove this, especially on apple and pear, palm fruits. Do not remove these. You're removing fruit and you're removing energy. This is the uppermost scaffold. And because it's not as long as the other scaffolds, I'm going to let this grow. I'm not going to tip it. I'm not going to tip it, and there's no other branches coming out near the end. So I'm going to tie this down, and I'm going to allow this to grow to catch up to the others. And approximately 20 inches long, like the others, I'll prune it back. It does, however, have this branch sticking up here, way up here. It's going straight up. I'm not going to use that branch. But what I can do is cut this back. So we had this back like the other ones. These are branches in the middle of the scaffold. I headed them all back. You remove these branches in the next years to come before they get in the way. You can see the growth after the summer pruning. This is a month later. And of course I tie down the branches to train them. I'll be doing a video of that later on. This is about 6 weeks after the summer pruning, which was the middle of May. That's the scaffold branching.